everybody. I decided to start coughing just as we were about to come on. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the Golden Girls Coffee Klatch. Of course, as y'all know, Rose is still missing. She's somewhere down in the South America somewhere. We haven't found her yet. And Dorothy, right?
Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Yeah. Forgot to change my name.
And Sophia is not here tonight. That's Marina. She had a something come up unexpectedly, so she will not be with us. So you just got me and Cleo tonight, or me and Dorothy tonight. So
you're pretty damn lucky.
There we go. And something brand new that StreamYard just started, and they're beta testing it starting today. If y'all look at the screen, you're going to see the chat on the screen. So if we had more than one destination, or if we were simulcasting, you would see everybody in the chat from all the different chats. So this is kind of cool. Of course, right now it's just my chat because Cleo's not simulcasting, and I didn't hook up any of my other destinations. Yeah. So it's kind of weird. I can't read a damn thing it says. It's so small.
Yeah.
But it's something new, so we'll let it run and see how it goes and see if y'all like it or not. And so welcome, Cleo. You got anything coming up that you want to hawk?
You know what? I don't think I do have anything coming up. Well, I've got something tomorrow. Tomorrow I've got another polyterology with my sister, with Colleen the Cool Crone.
Okay.
And then I'm going into next week. On Wednesday, I've got a polyterology with Colleen the Cool Crone and Kathy Beal, and that's really cool because both of those two together, their astrology is just amazing. I feel like just stepping back and going, you guys take over the show because you're the astrologers, and it's really cool. And then on Friday we got, well, no, that's a different date. Never mind. That's what I got going on. But I did want to say, like right from the beginning, yesterday I did a show. Well, I was backstage on a show with Colleen the Cool Crone again, my sister. And towards the end of the show, we got into this thing about, I had seen that Trump had said that, they're just picking on Biden. My God, the man's got prostate cancer. And, the Republicans have been so rude about the whole thing that he should have known, and how far back did they know and stuff. And so anyway, Donald Trump said something about stage 9 cancer. Well, the people in the chat section, when we were doing this,
there's no such thing as stage 9.
He's talking about stage 9. There is no such thing. It's stage 4 is the max on that. But there's something called the Gleason scale, or the Gleason something or other.
Yeah, and it's like a level 9 or something.
Yeah, and that one came out to a level 9. And so I guess that's what he was trying to say. But in the meantime, I was just like, oh, please. He doesn't even know. What irritated me most about it is the only reason he brought it up is so that he could say that this 9, well, he called it stage 9, not true. But anyway, that's what he called it. And he was basically saying, obviously, if it's gone on that long, Biden had known for a long time that he had that. He was using that to make Biden look bad again, just anything to make him look bad. And so I just wanted to clear that up with people that I didn't know what Gleason 9 was at the time.
Yeah.
Yesterday. I looked it up since. There is such a thing, and it does have to do with the length of time, or the degree of severity or something
like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I heard them trying to explain it, but Gleason scores are used to measure how aggressive the cancer is.
Yeah, and this
Thank
thing
you, Artemis.
Yes, thank you. It happens to be
It's
very,
nice to have a nurse on hand.
yes.
Answer our questions.
And so anyway, I was just so irritated at Trump. Yeah, although he did put his thing in there about how sorry they were that this was going on, but this whole thing of trying to act like, they're suggesting that Jill Biden should go to jail because she's a doctor.
What kind of doctor is she? He's like, yeah, she's a PhD, you idiot,
Right.
in education. She's not a medical doctor.
And that she should have known because she's a doctor. So when they say these stupid things, I mean, and also the fact that Jill Biden obviously knew that this was going on with Joe and that she wanted her to keep running for president. What in the hell are they talking about? It's just
They're
craziness
just they're just trying to detract from
from what's really
the
happening. Yeah.
disaster that's happening with Donald right now. I mean,
Well, and they want to say that Biden is such a disaster. We don't care anymore. First of all, Biden was the best president we've had in a long time, and he was
amen to
not a
that.
disaster. And you know, Trump's the disaster. Everything he says, he should be pointing to himself. But anyway, I just wanted to get
Hi,
that out of the
Hugger.
way.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I saw that and I was just like, really? I mean, and now they're making this big thing up that he's known he's had it for years and years. No, my grandmother died from severe lung cancer
Ooh,
that had been growing in her body for, the doctor said, probably 30, 40 years. We never
wow.
knew it. She never had any symptoms of it. Of course, she was an alcoholic, so it hid a lot of the symptoms. But once we, towards the last year she was alive, once we realized that she wasn't drinking anymore and she was still acting like she was drunk, she couldn't walk a straight line and she'd fall over and stuff. And my mother started taking her to the doctor, trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with my mother. And they, oh, in her ear infection. Oh, well, it's this. I mean, every other week we were taking my grandmother to the doctor's office, try a new prescription, and nothing was working, and she was getting worse. And finally, one of the doctors that we took her to said, you know what, I'm gonna make an appointment for you to go see an oncologist and let them test. And wow, when they came back with a test, he was like, had you been here 40 years ago, we might could have prevented it from spreading. He says, but at this stage, it's throughout her entire body. It's already everywhere. There's nothing we can do about it. We don't even have, I mean, and this was back in the 70s, y'all. There's a lot of stuff that has come through now that they do for cancer patients that didn't exist back then. But my grandmother was one of the people who they did a lot of testing on with a lot of the new stuff that they use regularly today, because we lived in Texas at the time. And so she went to the teaching hospital in Galveston, and she was in the cancer study program, and they used her like a guinea pig for chemotherapy, radiotherapy, this treatment, that treatment. I mean, every other week, she was doing something different that they were trying on her to see if anything would have any kind of an effect, because she was already so far gone that the doctors were like, if she lasts a year, you're doing good. We're not going to stop this. And
Yeah.
so it was hard to watch her waste away to nothing. Um, but we took we took comfort in the fact that the all the things that they used her as a guinea pig for were helping people now. You
Yeah.
know,
Amazing.
when my mother had a brain aneurysm back in 2007, 2008, it didn't burst. It just, according to the doctor, it sprung a leak. It dropped her like boom, boom. She was out, and they had to do emergency surgery. Used to be when you had a brain aneurysm, if you didn't die instantly, the surgery was they would drill a big hole in your head to relieve the pressure. They would drill a hole through your skull.
Right.
And she was one of the first patients to use what they now call the coil method. And they go in through the femoral artery in the groin with a titanium wire, and they feed it all the way up till it got up to where that leak had sprung in her brain, and they stopped it up with platinum wire and then brought it all the way out. She was home a week and a half later.
That is
4
amazing.
days after brain surgery, they couldn't keep her in bed, and she was in the ICU. I would leave work to come and see her when I could, on my lunch breaks and stuff. And I'd walk in there, and the nurses would be like, "Oh, I don't know, she's around here somewhere." They gave up after like 3 days after brain surgery. They're like, "I don't know, she's somewhere around here." She got them to bring her one of those IV bowls, and she was visiting all the other patients to cheer them up because she couldn't stand to lay there in the bed. They sent her home a week and a half later after brain surgery, after a brain aneurysm, and they couldn't get
Wow.
over how fast she healed. Um, it was, but a lot of what they did was very brand new experimental. They had just started it, and now it's the normal way that they handle that kind of aneurysm is they do that method. And she was one of the original uh, people in that study to try it. And
Wow. I do know that they've just come up with so many advancements in just, especially with cancer, but I mean, so many other things too.
yeah,
And, modern medicine is just amazing. I don't, and, maybe younger people don't really get how far we've come because, there would a lot of the things you're talking about. If something like that happened, you're gone. And you
yeah,
would never know, you'd never know that these kind of things existed. The fact that you had somebody that went to kind of an experimental thing and it
yeah,
worked, and that they became part of the program. They became somebody that they could go back.
yeah. It was like a 7 year. They followed her for like 7 years after that surgery
Yeah, that's
to
amazing.
just track her method. They were wrapping up the last year when we discovered that she had dementia, and she had what they called cerebral atrophy. Her brain literally started shriveling up inside of her skull. And so, as sections of her brain would shrivel up, she would lose whatever function was attributed to that section of the brain. It would just boom be gone. And there wasn't anything they could do for it. There wasn't any experimental surgeries or anything else. But I mean, that was 10 years of taking care of her and watching her waste away as well. So
Yeah, that's
I have
horrible.
a lot of, I feel good that Joe Biden has his family around him. He has people that truly love and care about him around the world, who are sending him prayers and love and healing energy. And the cancer he has is it's treatable by hormones. And evidently he's a fairly good candidate for that. So maybe
Well,
it'll make a difference and maybe it won't, but you know,
the people
it's
that have been
bittersweet.
reading on it, like, yesterday, my sister, Colleen the Cool Crone, she did a reading on it. And I've seen some other people do readings on it, and they're really coming up with they're kind of feeling very optimistic that the treatment might work, and he might be able to be around for a few more years. And I'm hoping that they're right. Um, uh, you know, I haven't tried to do a reading on it yet, but I mean, I just hope that the people that I'm listening to are correct and that Joe Biden will still be around for a while. I want Joe Biden to be around at least long enough to see Trump be removed from office. And so,
Yeah.
and hopefully much longer. But I mean, I really feel like he
I don't.
deserves to see that.
Yeah. I mean, when it was announced and it came out, and of course, the first kind of gut reaction is, "Oh my God, no,
Yeah.
not Papa Joe." And
Yeah.
then it just kind of like washed over me. Why are you upset? What makes you think we're going to take him out that fast? And that's the message I got. And I was like, okay. I'm not going to worry about it. And so, and it's like, I've not gotten that, that, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God feeling about it.
Come
I
to think
just,
of it, I haven't either. I haven't either.
yeah. And there's several other people I've talked to that are like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be that, I mean, it maybe he does go in 3 months, 6 months, a year. Who knows? I mean, anything can happen. But it was like when that initial reaction hit when I heard it and I went, and then it just kind of washed over me. It was like, what are you upset about? You know, you, you think we're going to take him out like that? No. And then I saw a cartoon meme today that somebody posted, and I can't remember now who posted it. I put it on my Facebook page. Um, Showed Joe Biden as a young man putting flowers at the grave of his first wife and daughter who died in that horrible, horrible car crash.
Yeah.
And then there was the next frame was him standing over a flag draped coffin with Beau Biden written underneath it. And then the next frame was him walking Hunter into a treatment center to get off the drugs and get his life together. And then the last panel was him like holding up this report, and he's like, Beth, I've seen worse. And it's like that's the attitude. That's the attitude that I kind of got. When I saw that today, and I was like, I didn't see that the other day when they announced this but whoever created that cartoon panel, they nailed it. I mean, absolutely nailed it. It's especially compared to the snowflakes on the other side. Bunch of whiny babies. They whine about everything.
And Mark over here in the chat section said, I bet my bottom dollar that Pope Leo has called Joe already. Joe is so connected
Yeah,
spiritually, and he's, yeah,
yeah.
and he is definitely a devout Catholic. And I really think that his faith is really what has gotten him through so many things, the losses in
Oh,
his life, and as well as his political career and being president. And now, it's just another step. It's another thing. And I know that the Pope would really, really like Joe Biden. I don't know if he met him yet or not, but
yeah. He met them when he went over for his initial inaugural
oh,
mass or
so
whatever it
Joe was
is they
well
call.
enough. He was
Joe
well enough.
and Jill were both there. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Um,
So yeah, I know that that's a person that he would like. He doesn't, it's not that he
yeah.
dislikes, but he's not fond of Trump because Trump promotes
Yeah.
inhumanity and cruelty and throwing people out of the country unnecessarily. And that's just Joe Biden is totally the opposite of Trump as far as those kind of things are
Oh,
concerned.
night and
So,
day difference. Night
yes,
and day difference.
yes, and it's just I just hope that Joe gets well, and I will keep praying for him because I want him to be around long enough to see where this is going because we see where it's going, and it's going to be a good
I
thing.
like what
So,
Maureen says. Her grandfather, that she also called Papa Joe, had the same diagnosis and lived for 10 years after it was discovered.
well, I have heard that hormone therapy for that particular kind of cancer has been pretty successful. It doesn't cure. I don't think it cures it, but it does prolong your life. So, and that's what we want.
Exactly. And of course, you've got the Republican House managed to pass that horrendous bill, his big, beautiful bill, which not only cut Medicaid, they cut Medicare.
They did what?
They cut Medicare, not just Medicaid. We knew Medicaid was on the chopping block.
Right.
People have been upset. And they kept saying, oh, no, we're not going to touch Medicare. Don't be ridiculous. They cut Medicare drastically.
But isn't all this stuff still got to go through the Senate?
It's still got to go through the Senate. And so there's hope there.
And the Senate's really not up for it. They don't like what's going on because in the end, we end up with even a bigger deficit in this country than I think we've ever seen. So it just adds more and more money to it. And the whole idea for these budgets is to reduce that. And what they're doing, for some reason, doesn't quite work out. They can't seem to get a balance. They're taking away all the money from the poor people and the marginalized folks.
Now they've set it up to read in the bill that the cuts won't start happening until like the first day of whoever the next president's going to be, inauguration day.
Well, so some of the stuff they're talking, right? Some of the
same as always, and then it'll go into effect the day after the next president gets inaugurated.
Yeah, supposedly. Some stuff goes up to 2028, 2029.
Yeah. But, it's like a lot of people were bitching about, well, Biden said he was going to do this and do that, and he didn't do it. It's like, yeah, no, it wasn't taking effect until this year and next year, till 25 and 26.
Okay, right.
And we're going to start, except for the things that Trump has jumped in and completely cut.
Yeah, he's completely just about everything that Biden's done. He's tried to cut it back and say, no, it's not going to happen. He seems to be getting away with this, except more and more the courts are saying, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. And he's looking around like he wants to get rid of all these judges that say, no, you can't do that. He is just destroying the country. So it's just and the Supreme Court is not being helpful either. Sometimes the Supreme Court rules in his favor on things that don't make any sense. I mean,
I tell you what has really surprised me has been Amy Coney Barrett. She has jumped sides across the aisle more times and since he took office than she has in all the time she's been in on the Supreme Court. It's like who woke her up, slapped some sense into her brain, all of a sudden she's voting with the Dems on stuff, so on the Supreme Court. So that's a good thing. I mean, but so
there's just so much coming up that needs to be. They need to.
The Dems want to.
They need to confront the Trump administration and say, "Hey, wait a minute! You're doing things illegal." Now they're talking about it finally. Almost every article I read is they did this illegal and that illegal, and they shouldn't have done that. And but they keep getting away with it. It doesn't change anything.
So frustrating. That's what's so frustrating.
And what about this damn plane? And this $400 million plane? This is just craziness. It goes totally against the Constitution. It goes against is it called the emolument clause? Yeah, that says that you can't do that. And that you can't be a king, or you can't, all these things that Trump talks about that has hinted towards, or at least other Republicans bring it up. says that he can't do that. It's totally against the law. So this thing about the gift from a prince or whoever he is totally against our Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
But yet they're doing it anyway.
And will cost us billions of dollars just to bring it up to code
Yes.
for him to even use. So it's not saving anybody any money. In fact, it's going to cost money because the contracts are already in place for the current Air Force One and Air Force Two. That's already contracted out. It's already been signed off on to refurbish those planes.
Yes.
And so, it's like, yeah, no, you're just spending money. For a group of people that are so damn concerned with how much money is getting spent in government, they sure do have a heyday spending money in government.
Well,
They just,
I think that Trump intends to take that plane himself.
oh, absolutely.
That's what's going to end up in his garage.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and I do think it's kind of interesting that one thing I've heard, like for the last, I think over the last 2 years, is that when the axe falls, Trump's going to head to somewhere in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
He's going to, and I've heard that over and over again. I don't really know myself. I haven't really looked at that way, but that's what other people have been saying.
Something about we don't have extradition with those countries.
Right. And so, but if he did do that, he'd take that plane with him, and he's got all kinds of deals going on in Qatar. He's got tons of stuff business-wise going on. And that's part of what this deal is about. It's kind of like somebody suggested that it might be a way to launder money.
But yeah, everything's about washing it clean so he can stick it in his damn pocket. That's all. He doesn't care about anything else except to stay out of jail and see how much money he can put in his pocket. And I've always said they will hurt him more by taking away his money than they will by locking him up.
Oh yeah,
locking him up will be bad, but you take away his money completely, and oh yeah, that would do it. Please, please, please.
Well, and the whole thing is, right now he's making more money than ever, supposedly, from all this cryptocurrency stuff. Again, I always have to explain, I don't understand anything about that. All I know is that whatever he's doing is really shady. They've been working on it for a few years now. He's got his kids totally working on it, totally involved in it. And that they're just going to make thousands and thousands and millions and billions of dollars. And I'm like, he's using the presidency to do that. Once again, illegal, can't do that. But nobody's stopping him. But they are, I think, they are looking at it a little bit closer these days and saying, something's got to stop.
Yeah. And while you were talking, I was sitting here running through my head. I asked a question about what does this mean for all of us as a whole? What does this mean for those of us on the left? And the first thing I got was the greater good. So all that's happening is for our greater good.
Wow.
And then I pulled new rules, policy, laws. So what's happening is for our greater good, and it's going to cause new laws, new rules, new policies are going to be brought out. And then I pulled drone strike. I wonder who we're going to strike. But I think it's just the way that the Democrats are now currently dealing with the right. It's kind of like drone strikes almost. It's like they're giving no. I don't know if you watched any of the hearings on the cabinet members, Dog Killer Christie and RFK, the garbage dump swimmer, and or the sewage swimmer, and several others that they did. I have to think of something funny to say, or else I cry. But they were brutal with these people, trying to get them to answer questions in the committee for the cabinet positions, and they weren't cutting any damn slack. They wasn't letting anybody bust in and say, "Oh, you're taking it too far." Oh, but no, we're going to go further. And I'm sitting back going, "Where the hell have you people been?" We
Yeah, really, really. Good point.
yeah, it's like, we've needed this for quite a long time. It's just
Well, I think for partly that all this stuff about going after people that don't go along with Trump, or going against this deportation stuff and everything, because it's just so wrong. I just can't believe that this is happening in America, that they're just dragging people out of the country and then sending them to the
they're
hellhole of the
arresting
world.
Congress people now.
Yeah, and
There
judges.
was like 2 or 3 Congress people that were, as part of their duties on whatever committee that they served on, went to go inspect one of these prisons, and the ICE agents decided to come up and be all, up in their faces and getting all pushy shovey, and they shoved one of the female congresswomen.
Yeah, her name's McIver.
Yeah, and which caused her to I guess fall into dog killer Christie. And so now they've arrested her and are going to bring her to trial
For assault.
for for assault. It's
Yeah,
like,
this is
excuse me.
absolutely ridiculous. This woman, that she's from New Jersey. Her name's I can't remember. I don't know what her first name is. I don't have it on this piece of paper in front of me. But her name's she's a representative. She's a Democrat, and she's from New Jersey. Name's McIver, and she was touring a facility and had done absolutely nothing wrong. She was actually doing her job. That's her job, to do what she was doing. And
Exactly.
so they went after her, and they threw a bunch of bogus nonsense, saying that she had, well, like we said, that she assaulted somebody, when you're saying that she got pushed into somebody. It's
That's
all,
what I heard. I didn't see the actual clip, so
well, I
I'm
haven't
just
seen
going
it
on
either,
hearsay.
but I don't discount that at all. That's the way they work. They just say what they have to say to try to prove their point, to get the person in trouble. The only thing is that there's been other Democrats, apparently, that watch this whole thing and totally support this woman. And so they're going after them with great guns. I mean, they're just no hold barred. They're just not going to put up with this, because they know that if you allow this to continue to happen, it will just snowball. It'll just go off the wires. It'll be
Well,
to
it's just like
anybody.
one of
So,
the congressmen, and I don't know his name. He's kind of an older gentleman, probably closer to our age than some of the others there, uh, who just flat out, when it was his turn to talk about this bill that they managed to pass,
the big
is
beautiful one.
yeah, the big beautiful one. He was like up in their face with, if this bill is so beautiful and so wonderful and so awesome, why are you doing it in the middle of the night?
Yeah, really.
Why are you debating this at 1 a.m. and not 1 p.m.? What are you trying to hide? He says, well, I'll tell you what you're trying to hide. And he's the one that went through that thing, and he started naming everything off. And that's when reporters and stuff discovered, oh shit, they're cutting Medicare too. Because he gave no quarter. He was reading off. I mean, he got in their face. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Well,
He was pissed. I mean, just
because this has got to stop. This is just ridiculous. This is what
yeah.
It's these things and billions of other irregularities that come out of the Trump administration. All of the Trumpsters, all the Republicans that are working for Trump are so defensive. You can't hardly get, any question you ask them, they take it as though it's an attack on them personally. And it's like you just don't understand. We have got to do this. And he's doing what the public, what the voters want him to do. No, he is not. I'm so sick of hearing that argument. There is no voters that said, yeah, I want you to inhumanely drag people out of the country, send them to these horrible prisons in another country, and then look around like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. They're in another country. I'm like, stop it. Stop this nonsense. Stop this.
That's when you send SEAL Team 6 or the Green Berets or whoever the fuck you got. Oh, sorry. Whoever the hell you got. Go get them now. Go get them and bring them back.
Well, and all the people that they've been firing, the federal employees and stuff, the court said, you know what? No, and trying to wipe out the Department of Education. The court had said, no, we're not going for that. So it's just one thing after the other. And the Republicans are looking around like, wow, you're just trying to make it hard. And they're like, no, we're just trying to follow the law. And most of all, we are supporting, these are people that support the Constitution of the United States that has been, that's been our Bible for 250 years. So yeah, the nonsense that's going on here is just, it's just bizarre. However, and I think we've said this before, it's got to go this route. But still, you can't help but be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this and this and this. But we got to go through these bad things.
Representative Jim McGovern, thank you, Colorado hippie. I couldn't remember who he was, his name.
And that was the guy that...
He was the one that tore into them about why you doing this at 1 a.m.
Okay.
He was from Massachusetts. Okay. I can close my eyes and see his face, but I didn't get his name. And I just was like, wow, he is flat taking them to the woodshed and then some.
Oh, that's great.
But and there's a bunch of others. I saw a clip. I don't know what it was for or who it was about, but it was AOC, and they were trying to, and she was ripping into somebody for being disrespectful and crude to a congresswoman, her. And somebody else on the other side was like, will you yield? Will you yield? So she's like, I will not yield. She says, I will never yield to someone who's that disrespectful and that ugly to another member of Congress. And I don't care what side of the aisle they sit on. I was like, damn, girl, you go.
She's done some great stuff. That's the one that's working with Bernie Sanders.
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, it's Jasmine Crockett's the one from Texas. AOC's from New York.
Yeah.
I don't remember which borough now either. Y'all tell me in the chat. Is she Brooklyn or is she the Bronx? I don't remember which one.
I don't know, but she's definitely New York.
Oh yeah, she's definitely New York.
So CO hippie hiker. I like what this says. Judge blocks Trump administration from dismantling education. There we go. Education department ordered issued by a federal judge in Boston, and also directs officials to reinstate thousands of fired employees. Yes.
If they can talk them into coming back.
What's that, Sherry?
I said, if they can talk them into coming back.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of them that are like, yeah, no, you had your chance. I'm not coming back.
Which will be unfortunate, but, I don't blame them. They probably already out looking for other jobs and stuff because they can't afford to be off for weeks and weeks while people try to decide whether this is right or wrong. And we all know that it's wrong. There's no reason to do it. Even if these steps are something that needs to be done, this is not the way to do it. And it hasn't been for every single thing that Trump has done since he got into office this time. I mean, it's just not appropriate. It's not America. It's just not the way we do things. And he's trying to, the Republicans themselves, they're just trying to bring down everybody so that we feel beaten down. We feel like there's no hope. And that's what they want us to do. Just not going to work. This is America. Everybody's got hope. Everybody's going to stick to their guns on this. That's why there's still protests. There's still protests all over the country, even though you don't hear about them too much. They're there. People are upset, and people are not going to stand for it.
Bronx. She's from the Bronx. Okay. I knew it was some of the boroughs. Mods, if y'all just slow down a little bit and make sure you're clicking on the right person if you're taking out an ugly comment or something. And I've done this before where I've blocked somebody that had nothing to do with what was being said because the chat jumped and I clicked on the wrong person. So just be careful. Evidently somebody had something of theirs deleted. I don't know. But it happens, and it usually only lasts for, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, something like that, and then you're back to normal again.
Well, I think though that once it's deleted, it's kind of hard to get it back.
Yeah, that once it's deleted, the comment is deleted, but if they accidentally time somebody out or something like that, it's only for a certain period, and then you come back in and it's fine. And if it goes further than that, if they accidentally block somebody, then they just got to let me know so I have their channel name and everything, and I can go into my dashboard after the fact and unblock them, from what I've been told. So I've never had to do that, so not quite sure how I do that, but you can ask the YouTube question service, and it'll pop up all kinds of stuff on how to do things. So,
Artemis got deleted. Oh no, not good.
Who got deleted?
Artemis.
Oh, I'm sorry, Artemis. I'm sure it was an accident. I mean, I can't find anything any of y'all have said that would.
Well, is that the same person? Looks like they're back. Okay.
Yeah, she's back in. So evidently they just deleted a comment or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It happens. I have done it to people simply because I was trying to click on somebody that was being ugly or one of the bots, or something that come over, and the chat jumps and you wind up clicking the wrong box. It's happened to me a gazillion times. So just, slow down a little bit and take your time. Sometimes you have to kind of manually move the chat back and forth in order to kind of make it freeze in place and not scroll automatically on you. Amanda said she accidentally blocked Heavenly Blessed Honey. From my channel? Is that why I haven't seen her in a while? I'm gonna have to go in and look for that and get that fixed.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, though. I have noticed, even on my channel, that some of the people I've subscribed to, and I think I subscribed to about 1,000 people, but
I know I have.
But that some of them have disappeared. So don't, some people need. It doesn't have to do with what you're talking about right now. But if you go to someone's channel that you think that it's somebody that you subscribe to, and you look on there and realize you're no longer subscribed, just subscribe again.
Yeah, it's something to do with that YouTube algorithm. Although YouTube says they're not doing it, but I'm sorry, I got unsubscribed from Marina's channel, and it's like I was not only a mod on her channel and subscribed to her channel, but I was also a paying member on her channel.
Wow.
And the algorithm unsubscribed me, and I had to go back in and resubscribe. I was like, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
And I just, 2 weeks ago. I was like, there were several of us talking about it on a show, and I started thinking about it after the show was over, and I thought, I haven't gotten any notifications on this person, that person, the other person. And I went looked them up. Sure enough, I had been unsubscribed from like 10 different channels. I had to go back in and resubscribe.
Wow.
Um, so, and I don't know how long I had been unsubscribed because I didn't notice, because it doesn't notify you.
No, it doesn't tell you that
You're
that has happened.
unsubscribed. You
No.
don't get an email saying you've been unsubscribed from such and
Right.
such channel. It's like,
No.
and if you don't know, you're not going to look. And if you're not someone that's on here 24/7, you're just on in the evenings, or when you have free time, you may not notice that you're not getting notifications from certain people. um, but no, it's not only you, Amanda. I've done it to other people myself. I am still blocked from Milo's channel, Psychic Milo. I used to be a regular, watched him every day because he came on during my lunch break, and I could watch like 20, 30 minutes of him, and I would chat and whatnot. Somebody blocked me on his channel, and I wrote him an email, and I said, I don't know what I did to get blocked. If I broke a rule, let me know. And he was like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't block anybody. And he went in to try to unblock me, and it wouldn't let him do it. So whatever it was that they did when they blocked me, like permanently blocked me, I don't know. And so just be careful. That's all.
Yeah, just
We all hit the wrong
keep an eye on
thing.
your channels and make sure
Yeah.
that your subscriptions
And
are
we all
still
hit a wrong
valid.
button. We all hit the wrong thing every now and again, especially when chat's jumping and things are flying. It happens. Like I said, I've done it myself a gazillion times. So
We're all under a little bit of pressure, and it's not
just
YouTube.
a little bit. Yeah. Um,
There's a lot going on in
don't
this
take it
world.
personal if it happens.
Yeah, don't.
I
Exactly.
accidentally blocked Sharon Sipe, I think
Oh,
it was, from somebody's channel, or like put her in like timeout. And it was a thing where the chat jumped, and I clicked the wrong one and hit timeout before I realized it was on the wrong person. And when it finally cleared out and she was back on, I apologized to her probably a dozen times on that particular show. I kept chatting to her, and she wouldn't respond. It took about a week before she finally responded back to me. She was like, "You're okay, man. Don't worry about it." And I was like, I felt like this big, because you don't mean to do it, and it just happens. You just have to be careful.
well, I know. I'm still
And if it
learning stuff.
happens, don't take it personal. It's usually because somebody just clicked the wrong damn box.
Well, and
With it.
sometimes people don't know what they're doing. Like myself, I'm still learning how to be backstage and starring things and
Right.
getting them out there. But when I wanted to know how do you get rid of them when you've done the question, like a starred question,
You
and we
just
found out
unstar it. Yeah.
well, you unstar it, but if you're not careful, you delete that question altogether out of the chat section. I just wanted to unstar it. But
Yeah.
anyway, that
Yeah.
I guess
I hear what you're
I
saying.
got
Yeah.
more to learn.
I'm still learning too, so don't feel bad. I'm still figuring it out as I go along. Um, and it happens. I mean, what was that, Norm? ABC told The View to tone it down. Fat chance that's going to happen. Not with Whoopi and Joy Behar on there. They don't know what tone down means. They'll just ratchet it up. Es- oh, excuse me. Wow. Especially Whoopi. She can tear your head off in a New York.
Well, and that's why people like to watch that show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch it because I'm at work.
Yeah, I don't
And,
watch it either. I don't watch
you
daytime
know,
TV, but But
But
they are. I like the view though. If I have watched it
I
a couple
did. If
times.
I have the day off and it comes on, see, I don't have TV anymore. So unless it's something running on a clip on YouTube or somebody's running it live off of their channel, and then I can catch it and watch a few minutes of it. But yeah, I don't have TV anymore, so I don't get to watch that. I don't watch TV anymore.
Well,
I got tired of all of it.
Sherry Freeberry says that they said to tone it down on Trump. Oh, hell no. No, go ahead, View. Please do.
Yes,
Say
no,
what you want to say about Trump.
ratchet it up, baby, ratchet it up. It's that's the problem is that he has somehow managed to cause people to be in fear to a level that they're afraid to push back on him. From journalists to TV host to
Well, because his
Congress
minions
people.
they go after those people. They go after him. They ruin careers.
Yeah,
They get them fired.
death
You know,
threats, all kinds of horrible stuff.
yes,
It's like, you're
he's
gonna,
the mob boss.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm personally, I think the minute somebody starts getting death threats from his people, then you need to file a lawsuit against him. Just like they charged Charles Manson for what his minions did. He didn't kill anybody that we know of. I mean, he didn't kill Sharon Tate or any of those other people. It was his people that did that because he told them to. And that's what the prosecutor had to prove was that they did it because he told them to, you know, just like going back to World War II and the Nuremberg trials. You had people that were on trial saying, I was just following orders. It was my job just follow orders. It's like, yeah, that don't carry no weight around here.
And it's not
Knew it
going to
was
carry
wrong.
any weight around here either. When push comes to shove,
Exactly.
when this whole thing falls apart and everybody is looking around going, oh, what do you mean? Trump can't tell us, we were just doing what he told us to do. That's not going to happen. I mean,
That's
they're
right.
not going to get away with this. Because that is exactly, Sherry, that is exactly what they will say too is, we had to do what he told us to do. No. They need
Exactly.
to stand up.
And
This
it's
they don't stand up for the Constitution, and so they shouldn't be in office. They shouldn't be
exactly,
doing anything. But to
exactly.
have that for Trump to have that kind of control, you've got nobody to blame but yourselves. You've allowed it. You have encouraged him to lie and to tell us just his
From
whole routine has
very
been
first time in 2015, 2016, whenever it was that he ran the first time. The very first freaking lies out of his mouth, they should have flat hit him in the face with it and said, why are you lying about that? There's proof to show that you're lying about that. But they were too busy chasing this imaginary golden star, thinking that it was going to make them rich and famous too. And most of these people got thrown under the bus anyway. There's nothing he loves more than throwing the people who are the most loyal to him under the bus. Just ask Michael Cohen. I mean.
really. And at least that guy has come out and been honest with us and tried to explain this is why I did what I did. Artemis RN says, just wondering, did my question about when we can
I
expect
missed the question. Yeah.
the entire Trump administration to fall apart or at least begin to know time is fluid, but you never know. Why not try? Yeah, I know the timing is totally weird. It's feeling more and more like it is this summer. The beginning of the end is this summer. I feel like it's already kind of happening. If you see,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, what's been going on and the steps that Trump continues to take that just does not go along with the Constitution, just like this $400 million airplane. And what they're trying to do now is saying, well, no, it didn't go to Trump. It went to the Pentagon. It went to,
bullshit.
You know, we know
Not
what
French.
we know what that is, and we're not going to continue to put up with this. But anyway, the end of Trump, and the end, I believe it's going to be before 2026, and I think that when you what do you got going on
Does
there?
disaster wreckage. Come on now, focus.
It
Doesn't want to
doesn't want
focus.
to.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Disaster wreckage.
And does that tell you anything about timing?
Support role. That's telling me his supporters are going to go down too. Downgraded. They're all in it. They're all in it up to their fancy little necks, and it's
I just believe it is going to happen, and I think this summer is really when we'll start
yeah.
to see, like, okay, now we kind of see where this is going. But it's
We
even happening right now, as far as that there are Democrats that are starting to say the truth. They're starting to
yeah
question what is going on. I just saw, um, the one from our state, from Washington State, Murray, and she is questioning
yeah.
the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, about what he has been doing. And they're just so defensive. And of course, they can't get a straight answer out of anybody, but at least it's coming
Mm-mm.
up. At least it's in a discussion, and it's part of this was part of a Senate hearing. Um, and so, pay attention to what you're seeing on those things. And steal his Sharpie. And it's so ridiculous. Have you seen those things? He had especially made deluxe with his name scribbled on there, just like he does his signing of these orders and stuff. It's just so stupid.
You know, um, Amanda asked, "Do you see dominoes?" In a lot of ways, I do. In a lot of ways, whenever I've gone in and done some readings on it, um, I mean, one of the things my guides keep telling me is it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. We're starting to see that worse happen.
Right
We're
now.
not at the peak. We're not at peak yet.
No.
It's going to get worse, y'all. Just, I'm telling you right now, we're going to lose rights. We're going to lose all kinds of shit before we finally get a grip on getting him out. Um,
But
and a
the
lot
good
of that
guys,
is going to
the
fall
good guys are
to
concerned. They're
right.
working
It's
on
like
this.
the 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 more passionate Democrats, the younger Democrats, are finally stepping up and stepping around the leadership, saying, "Okay, look, enough's enough of this BS. We got to put a stop to this." And people are resonating with them more than anybody else. I mean, you've got Democrats going into solid red states, solid red cities and counties and whatnot, and holding town halls, and the places are packed. I mean, you've got AOC and Bernie flying around the country doing rallies just to talk about all the crap that he's doing. And of course, he and his people are all whining and crying because they're doing that and they're being mean to me. Well, tough shit, you know.
They're
You've been
being
mean to a lot of
mean to
damn people
me.
yourself. I mean, um,
This Steve,
they can dish it out, but they can't take it.
somebody just asked, are they going to do something about Stephen Miller? That guy is, first of all, there's something with him. He looks to me very alien,
He's,
like he might be from
he's
another planet.
Goebbels reborn.
And he wants to unilaterally abolish the due legal process where people get a chance to say something in the form of habeas corpus to make it easier to send immigrants to prison in El Salvador.
But
How
they're
did
convinced that habeas corpus is something that only the president can use. Wrong. Habeas corpus is there for Congress and people to use to keep a dictator from doing what he's trying to do right now.
Yes, yes. But so
And,
Stephen Miller, though, he's all on board of trying to change all this.
yep,
I don't know why anybody be listening to him, but he does come up with some really
he's sick. He is
rash
sick in the
trash.
head.
Yeah,
He is sick in the head. And his
definitely.
family have come out and said that there is something wrong with him. His family won't even have anything to do with him. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's something will happen with that guy. All of
But
these
I
people.
keep feeling like, yeah, it's going to be, I keep thinking it's closer to the end of summer because we've already started Tornado City. We've had, 40 something people that have died in the past week from tornadoes, from the 2, 3 nights of massive tornadoes rocketing across the country. We got hurricane season that starts in 2 weeks on June 1st. And I have been getting that it's going to be a really bad year this year with hurricanes. And he has completely done away with FEMA. I mean,
Yes.
I think they
What was
still have
wrong?
an office or a broom closet to meet in, but he's basically gotten rid of everybody but 1 or 2 people. And they're like,
Well,
what
he's
can
not
we
giving
do?
any federal support to the states that experience the damage from these huge storms.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think we get a couple of good sized hurricanes that hits us along the Gulf Coast and along the Atlantic coast. And you're going to see you're going to see something happening then because that's all red states that are going to be getting hit, unless it turns into a Sandy and goes up north. But most, just about all hurricanes and hurricane season, and that's all red states down here in the Gulf and on the Atlantic side. It's all red states that get hit. And they're the people that have the least amount of money. They have no way of
Well, I don't understand why he wants to limit it. Is this another savings plan? Oh my God. People that have gone through damage that is just
this
multi-billions of dollars of damage, and they want to say, no, we're not going to help you. This is not
this is part of
America. That's not how we
this
do
is part
things.
of this is part of Putin's plan to destroy the country. And that's what it's all about, is to completely destroy the country, completely tear it down and make it into some kind of a hellscape. I don't know. Everything he's done is to tear something down or to break something. He's not done anything good for the country. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
It, people are starting to wake up to that. I've been seeing a lot of little clips and stuff on TikTok and YouTube. These hardcore Republican MAGA people saying that tornado done ripped up half the neighborhood. How come we're not seeing FEMA down here? And whoever's interviewing them is like, Trump did away with FEMA. There is no more FEMA. What you talking about? He wouldn't do that to us. Well, yeah, he did do that to you because he doesn't care.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
really horrible. It's really horrible. But I think, if we can just hang in there and try not to get try not to let it affect your life so much, because
yeah.
it's so easy to
Stay
fall
away from the
into that.
news, except in small bits. Don't sit and watch it 24/7. It'll make you crazy.
Yeah, you take it in internally, and you keep wondering why, when's it gonna change, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. It's
Um,
gonna change really in its own time, but
start
I do see soon. This summer we'll start to see some
start
big changes.
stockpiling food that non-perishable food. Canned food, dried food, stuff that doesn't go bad. Um, Start stashing money that you don't have to go through an ATM for or use a plastic card for.
Yeah,
Because if they start effing with the banks or start doing things to mess up people's bank accounts, I mean, you could have $1,000 sitting in your checking account and go to the store to, put gas in your car and get milk and bread, and it's telling you have a negative balance. What are you going to do? You know, especially if it's at night, the bank's closed. You're going to have to wait till the next day or wait till the weekend's over to go to the bank, find out where the hell is my money. And,
Yeah.
if they get in there and screw the systems, I'm telling you, and my guides have been telling me this since the beginning of this, is start stashing money. Get at least 2 or 3 months worth of money stashed at home. Cash, cash. Don't let anybody know it's there. Don't tell anybody you got it. Find somewhere safe to put it where you can get to it immediately if you need to, but not just laying out for everybody to see. Be
And
smart.
get one of those fireproof lock boxes.
Yeah.
Because just in case something comes up and
something you can grab and run out the door if necessary. But yeah, get yourself in a position, where you've got some money stashed, you've got some non-perishable food there, water. If you don't have potable water, then and you don't have any way to boil it, what are you going to do?
and not to make this whole thing so scary and stuff and intimidating. Do what we're talking about just in case.
Yeah,
Let's just hope that it doesn't come to
this
that.
is prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yes.
That's how, I grew up on the Gulf Coast. That we go through this every late spring, early summer. We go through this for hurricane season. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yes.
That's just all there is to it, because it's going to be a mess.
It could be huge, and there's so many different factors here that could play into this. So just keep yourself
and y'all just keep doing what you've been doing with keeping each other's back. You see somebody online and they're really wrung out, be the one to reach out and say, hey, look, I hear you, I get you, but it's going to be better.
It's going to be better. And I do see that there's a good chance that you won't have to be worrying about all this stuff, but I'm just saying, it's kind of like if it's going to be a sunny day, but maybe you better take a raincoat anyway, just in case.
Yeah.
It could start raining.
Anyway, you see a couple of clouds off in the distance, and so you're thinking, maybe I better grab that umbrella after all.
Oh, well, okay. So we've been on here a little over an hour. And
yep, that's right. And we got to go.
I have to get off of here, but I'm so glad everybody showed up for this. And, I know Marina really hates to miss this, but she had an appointment or something going on that she had to attend to. So we miss her. And of course, I don't know. Val is just MIA. I mean, we really miss her. She hasn't been on for a while now. So
yeah.
But I think I see a time when Val will be coming back.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's just gonna take a while for some people to just kind of get, some people it's just gotten to be too much for them on the political end of things, and I get it. I do.
I totally do. Yeah.
But
so anyway, thanks everybody. Had a great time. I hope
thank you, Amber. You two were more than enough for us. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You.
And thank you, Cleo. I'm glad you were able to make it tonight. So
well, you too, Sherry. This has been great. We don't often get this time together, so I've really enjoyed it.
We need to do something about that. We need to schedule a couple shows just us.
Yeah,
just get on and do stuff. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So all right, y'all. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you again, Cleo, for being here. And y'all have a good night. Got polyterology tomorrow night with Cleo and Colleen. And I'll be on backstage with Arthur. He's doing a show tomorrow night. And then we get slumber party Saturdays. So um yeah,
You
we're
know,
gonna
and Friday is always polyterology. So
yeah,
join us. You know, Colleen always comes up with
absolutely.
something interesting.
Yeah, you never know. So all right, y'all. Have a great evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye for now.
Bye bye.